Hi guys, Marian here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to dive into a really important topic, and that is, what is Jewish law around abortion? What does Judaism say about abortion? Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? And how does that play into the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade and our right and freedom of the expression of our religion? So of course, I know that this topic is one that people have such deeply held beliefs about, and what I really want to touch on is what the Jewish religion and Jewish law says about it. So Judaism is actually very clear from the Torah through the Mishnah and rabbis from our ancient times to today that abortion is permitted, and not just permitted, but is required if the mother's life is in danger. So in the Torah, there's a few examples of how women who are pregnant are treated if somebody causes them to lose their pregnancy. So for example, there's a specific passage about how if someone hurts a woman who's pregnant and she loses that pregnancy, their punishment for the crime is one of a material one, as if they had stolen something from her rather than committed murder. So that's the first very clear example that within Jewish law, life does not begin at conception. And then throughout the Mishnah and other rabbis' writings, that is how Jewish law is established throughout the years and ages and even through today. The rabbis have continued to emphasize this point that life actually begins in Jewish law when the baby is halfway out, which is a pretty far difference from how Christianity treats the same topic. And while Judaism maintains that pregnancies hold the potential for life and therefore are very special and hold a sacred place for us, they do not infringe on the rights of the mother, and that the mother's life always comes first. This also is seen throughout rabbinic writings and how they speak about pregnancy. So for example, in Jewish law, when somebody dies, there's so many rituals and requirements for how to observe that death. But when a woman loses a pregnancy, there's no rituals at all. And actually that can be very difficult, especially in modern times when people are struggling with miscarriage and infertility. There's actually a lack of this kind of ritual support for Jewish women experiencing that because of this belief within Judaism that life doesn't begin until the baby is born. So if you haven't watched my channel before, you might be wondering why I'm covering this topic. And I actually wrote a book about Judaism and pregnancy called Expecting Jewish. And the first chapter, I think the first chapter is about sex, but the second chapter is about pregnancy loss, miscarriage, and termination. And I go into a lot of detail about it in this book, but it's a topic that I've researched and covered in a lot of detail throughout years, spoken with rabbis about. It's one that I'm very passionate about, just educating people, because I think there's this misconception that all religions are against abortion, which is not true. And in fact, Islam does not hold the belief that all abortion is prohibited. And actually it's similar to Judaism in the idea that the potential for life is sacred, but that the mother's life must be protected. Another way this plays out is that abortion is actually legal in Israel, and there are no restrictions in Jewish law or in Israeli law about when it can happen and what needs to be a requirement for it. There are some steps that need to be taken before termination, but in general, throughout Israeli law and history, it's been absolutely legal. So I will put some additional resources below, some text sources from the Bible if you're looking for specific passages and are just interested to learn more. I'm hoping to be able to keep the comment section open, but I've been on YouTube a while, so I'm not too optimistic about that. But I just hope that this video has been educational and informative, and I think it's really interesting, especially that a rabbi in a Jewish synagogue in Florida is actually suing for religious freedom because of this recent Supreme Court decision. So I think the Jewish community does have a role in what's going on right now, and I wanted to make this video to contribute to it. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!